In this episode of 5 to 9 podcast, we're chatting with our friend Furry Little Peach, Shawn. She's an artist and illustrator, and you can find her at Furry Little Peach.
Sha'an has a massive social media following both on Instagram and YouTube, where she shows the behind-the-scenes process of her work and living life as an artist.
Her work is pretty amazing. It has a signature, playful, colourful, and imaginative vibe.
In this episode, we chat about how she established herself as an artist, how she found her style, and how social media has played a massive role in building her career. Make sure you guys check her out on social media at Furry Little Peach, and we hope you really enjoyed this episode.
You need to eat
my
one.
drink. Yeah, I'm gonna.
You're really close. You gotta crunch it.
Then I scream into the mic halfway through.
So,
Okay. Right.
welcome to the 5 to 9 podcast.
Oh, I thought I was doing the intro.
Yeah, okay, you can.
Welcome back, everyone, to my podcast, 529. I'm here with my guests, Demas and Ben. Thank you for being here.
You have to say the tagline.
What's the tagline? Welcome to the 5 to 9 podcast. A podcast about creatives for creatives living the 5 to 9 life. Which one am I looking at? This one or this one?
If you want to talk, I think look into the right one. Because it's like, that's your camera. I'm not gonna touch the table.
Today we've got a very special guest. We've got Furry Little Peach, Shawn
Yay.
Dantes.
Yeah.
Say your last name.
It's pronounced Shawn Dantes.
Dantes?
It's fine.
I've never known.
To be honest, whatever.
The Aunties.
Whatever.
Okay,
As long as you can Google it.
So yeah, Shawn, who are you and what do you do?
I'm an illustrator from Sydney. That's all.
That's all? Mm-hmm. How did you become an illustrator? I guess we should start from the roots.
Well, like all of us, I loved drawing when I was little. I just never stopped, unlike some people.
Well, I
You
still
could be
draw.
Yeah.
I
Do
still
you?
draw.
Oh yeah, true. You.
I got shut down by my parents. They're like, this is a nice drawing, but you should do something else.
I was
And so
lucky.
I'd never do it again.
I was lucky that my parents were pretty supportive. Like whatever I wanted to do,
Yeah.
they would just support me, which is a privilege that I have. So I think once someone shuts you down, that's when you stop. But if you continue to practice, like you can just be amazing.
But then, so obviously you were doing art throughout school and throughout high school, and then did you keep going throughout uni and stuff like that?
So I like geared all of my high school electives to creative subjects. So like in year 12 you're supposed to do like 2
Smart.
major works. I did like 4 major works and 3 of them were due on the same day. I almost died. And they were not great.
Right.
Yeah, so I geared all of my subjects to creative subjects, which helped me when I was doing art and design at uni. So I studied at ACU. I studied Bachelor of Visual Art and Design. So it was
Okay.
half art, half design.
Wow. Okay.
And then I majored in graphic design for print, but then I went into graphic design for digital. So I started designing websites and apps and at a small
yeah.
agency. In
I
Birmingham.
Googled you. You worked at an agency for a while. Yeah.
It was great.
And obviously, when you were working at this agency, you were on the side still making your art, or
So
what was happening?
I was still making stuff. I was freelancing on and off, but I didn't have as much pressure to actually have to do client work.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is good because now I only really get client work that I want. And I think that's because I was able to develop the stuff that I love to do. I wasn't like, I think when you're working paycheck to paycheck for client
Yeah.
work and you're still starting out, it's
Yeah.
like really hard to show people who you are as a creative because you're just working to the brief, essentially.
Yeah. It's always good to like show yourself first and
Yeah.
show your passions first
Yeah.
before you kind of do any client work.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's like when people ask me like, "Oh, I want to be a freelancer after I finish like uni," I'm like, no. Like I'm not saying no, but they should definitely get like real world experience. They should learn how businesses are run. They should learn how to pitch to clients from other people, what agencies expect, blah blah blah. Those are all the things I learned when I was working at an agency.
Right. What was your role at this agency?
I was a digital designer, but because it was such a small agency, I was also doing like video animation, art direction, UX.
Right.
Yep.
I wasn't very good at UX.
I saw their website. There's a video clip of you like pointing at something.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
The website's really old, so yeah.
Is she still on their website?
Yeah, I looked it up yesterday.
Well,
So how long has it been since you left it?
like ages, like 2014.
Oh wow, it's been
Full
5
time.
I
years.
think they just haven't updated. They've had a lot of changes since. Like I ended up leaving just because the work that we were gearing towards, like more social media stuff,
Yeah.
is not what I was as interested in.
Right.
And at the same time, I was getting a lot of illustration work, and I didn't have time to do it.
Right.
And so I was just like, it's a good time.
Right.
The perfect time to kind of switch out of it. Like me and Demas started, I guess, not through an agency, so we had no idea about any of this kind of stuff. So just trying to wing it. And
But I mean, we did work. As in, did you learn anything from working? Do you think?
Yeah, how to reply to emails and stuff.
Hello,
Yeah.
love from Ben.
Well, that's good. Like timeliness of reply.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like being the way you communicate to a client. Like it's always.
I had a
learning,
boss.
you know?
He would get angry at me and like call me like, "Hey, you spelt this wrong." I was like, "What?"
Right. So now you
Typos
don't you don't get you don't
do
do
you have
typos
Grammarly?
anymore.
No, I do.
Grammarly.
I don't have it. I just seen the ads for it.
Yeah, like old computers. So no.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
What did you learn?
You're still working.
What do you
kind of-
learn as an architect that you can use in your everyday?
I think just like timeliness of emails, and so you're like not like telling your clients that if it's gonna take an extra week or something,
Just keep them in the loop.
yeah, keep them in the loop. Just make sure you communicate all the time.
Just etiquette,
Etiquette
yeah.
and like I don't know. I guess just like deadlines and like working towards a deadline. Like,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. You learn a lot.
Being
when
accountable.
When you
Like,
work.
Yeah.
I think like if you're a
Responsible.
16-year-old and you become famous and you become freelance,
Yeah.
you miss out on all these lessons.
I had
Yeah.
something due last night, like a deadline that was due yesterday for work.
architecture?
Yeah, and I stayed till 11 p.m. last night. I was at work till 11 p.m. last night. But I mean,
Yeah.
Extended this today so you can sleep in.
nah, as in like I knew that it was sort of happening. So so you prepare yourself and
Yeah.
like it's okay. It happens once in a while. It's not like every day, so it's fine.
I think that's like something that people don't understand. Not that they're idiots or naive. It's just that you think you want to be the best at illustration, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, I've got to spend all my time drawing. But actually, like, if you continue to do it, you will get better.
Yeah.
But what you need to seek out is experience in like business, experience in like how to speak to clients,
Yeah.
how to be accountable and
Yeah.
responsible.
How to present yourself.
Yeah, because
and,
people
like,
don't teach you that stuff.
Yes.
Accounting, or you could just like
Oh,
learn to
that's
delegate and pay someone, which is what I do because I don't want to do that. Accounting sucks.
Law stuff, like lawyers and legal documents. And
I don't
all that
really,
kind of stuff.
no, I don't really hire lawyers. We just read the contracts closely, like Chris and I.
Okay. So you have always been kind of part of the internet, and like
Yeah.
you love the internet, I guess. And
I love it.
So how did you first start on the internet?
Well, back in the day, got a MySpace account at 14, which was pretty good.
Wow.
Got 500 friends, just saying.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think the first time I shared my work online was on Tumblr.
Right.
I don't know when that was. I think it was end of high school. I think
Why did you pick Tumblr?
it was just like the
It was the
blogging
thing.
platform at the
Yeah,
time. Like
right.
it was the first visual driven blogging platform with lots of different avenues for different posts.
Yep.
And I was just looking for an excuse to like avoid doing HSC work, like
Right.
studying and stuff. I was
Yeah.
just like, what can I procrastinate on today? Do.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so that was during HSC time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think year 11.
Okay.
I don't know when that was. How old am I? I can't remember. I'm like 20. But yeah, so I got a Tumblr, and so I was posting like my film photography
Right. Okay.
because Rocket got me a film camera when I was 16 or
Can we
something.
can we show?
Some film, yeah.
Yes. Some.
It's
Just
Some
remind me
stuff
what
you
to
can, like,
provide
put up.
you with. Beep,
Yeah.
boop, boop.
Yeah.
And then I posted like a couple drawings because obviously I was still drawing. I loved art. When I was a kid, I was like, I want to be an artist when I grow up. And then when I was in high school, I was like, probably not like
Yeah.
achievable.
Yeah.
But then now, what?
Yeah. Look
How
at
did it
now.
happen?
So Tumblr.
Yeah, and then I posted my first drawing, and it got like more likes or more response.
Yeah.
3 blogs.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't even get that much, but it was just like I noticed that people were more receptive to it. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll share more of my stuff. And then that really motivated me to continue to share and continue to grow.
What sort of art were you making at the time?
Just drawings, like not great. I was just kind of emulating like things that I had seen, not copying, but I saw people using watercolor. And so I tried using watercolor. I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
Have you already been interested in watercolor since the beginning? Or?
No.
Oh, okay.
So when I was like 17, one of my favorite artists at the time was using watercolor.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I like this. I bought some really cheap watercolors. They were pretty shit. And then I also bought like the worst watercolor paper, but I still use it now for tests. So
Yeah.
it's good because it's like cheap.
Yeah,
You get like 100 sheets for $30.
Oh wow.
And so, sometimes when I'm doing paintings, one of my sheets is $30
Oh, okay.
That's crazy.
because it's
Yeah.
gotta be good quality.
Yeah, good quality. Yeah.
But for tests, like it doesn't need to be. So like I was using not great material, but I was just excited to be able to get my like ideas onto paper.
Right.
And I was excited because it was like something new.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So were you doing like, cause kind of right now you do your sketches and then you kind of turn into art, or you also do like big work. So what did you start on? Did you start on like little
Just
things?
small illustrations, just because it
Right.
was affordable and like I was just playing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was just exploring the medium, I guess. Like was really interested in like surreal. Not surreal. I did like surrealism, but it was more like I was interested in like dreamy artwork that wasn't like it was kind of fantasy, but I
Right.
don't really like that word because it makes me seem like a weird teenage girl in her room drawing like unicorns or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
which I don't
Right.
love that. I don't want to seem like that,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
But yeah, I think fantasy is a good way to describe what I was doing.
Okay. so you kept going and you kept posting on Tumblr, and then you kind of blew up a little bit.
Yeah,
I
I
guess, Tumblr.
remember like I did this. I was watching Lord of the Rings, and I was like painting at the same time, and I drew this like galaxy jar. Have you seen it? It was ages ago. It's
gonna
fine.
be here.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
look for
It'll be here.
Yeah.
And then I just remember that got put on the radar or something.
What
That
does
was
that
like
mean?
that's like on
Like
Tumblr.
explore
Everyone,
page.
every
Oh.
single user sees it, and it was on there
Yeah.
for like 3 weeks. That's someone told me later. They were like, I remember when that was on the
So
radar.
you didn't know it was happening?
No.
Oh wow.
I
okay.
just got like I don't even know if it was that many. I just went to work and then I came back and I was like, oh, new followers, cool.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. I like it's exciting to have more people look at your work, but I've never been like,
Chasing.
Yeah.
for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's nice, obviously, but it's more like I'd rather have less people that are super keen on my work than lots of people that are just like,
I think that's a lesson for everyone. I guess like follower count is not. You don't need to go chasing
No.
it. Like you should be thinking about making good work and
Yeah.
producing good stuff before you. The followers will come
yeah,
if you have good work.
We get this
Yeah.
question a lot, like, how do I grow followers?
And,
yeah,
like,
and
people
it's
ask-
always focused on the work.
Yeah.
People ask for like shout outs, but like what's the point? You know?
Yeah, I don't like it when they do
that kind of
that
stuff?
because it's like you will find your audience. Like you don't need my audience.
Yes.
Maybe my audience isn't right for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine like a bunch of people come to my page. Like it happens when someone shares your work. Like
Yeah.
a bunch of new people come and they're not really. They don't know who you are, so they're not fully invested. Whereas if someone discovers you on their own,
Yeah. It's
It's
that
like,
feeling
oh
of
my gosh.
discovery.
Yeah.
And you get more attached to them.
Yeah.
You don't want people to get sent over just because someone told you to.
no.
Yeah.
And like when I discover someone new, I just want to share their work with everyone.
Yeah,
so it's like
you
I
get that
want
excited.
I want people to feel that excitement for me. I don't want to buy my followers, or I don't want to
Yeah.
force someone to be like, hey, can you shout me out?
Yeah.
It's
I
not
would never do that,
nice.
Yeah.
It's really superficial as well. Like, they'll turn on you, like, leave you at
Yeah.
the drop of a dime, pretty much.
Yeah.
'Cause-
And I don't mind that either. Like if I lose a lot of followers, but it means that everyone that is like my audience online is like really into what I'm doing,
Yeah.
really understands what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
would love that
Yeah.
more.
Okay. So from Tumblr,
Yeah.
you kept posting and you kept growing, and then sort of the platform slowed down. In a way.
I don't think it slowed down when
It's sort of-
I also got an Instagram. Because I
Right,
got an
yeah.
Instagram and like, I don't remember, but I was
Yeah.
posting like photos of like my miso suit. That was like one of my first photos. I just remember posting. I was like,
on Instagram.
yeah. I was like,
Everyone
why did
remembers
I
their first
post
post.
that?
Yeah.
We used to do that. Like, I posted my first photos of my feet,
Yeah.
my shoes.
Yeah. Some of their shoes.
Yeah. Oh,
Used to post, like,
you know how
random
it does
stuff.
like old posts? It shows
Oh,
you.
Yeah.
It was a photo of the ocean, like, and it wasn't even nice. It was just like, why would I post that?
You're
So
sharing your
weird.
daily life.
My
like,
very
it wasn't-
first post on Instagram was at a teppanyaki restaurant. This chef was cooking,
Yeah.
and there was all this fire,
Oh, cool.
and then Lucy took the shot. I didn't even take the shot.
Oh, and did you
You're
blow
a
up?
thief.
I'm telling
Yeah,
everyone, Demas is a fraud.
That's my very first photo. It's not on there anymore, but the very first one I posted was
Cute.
Lucy took it. And
Yeah.
then I was like, I like this photo. I'm just going to post it.
All Demas's photos are by his wife.
That's when you're like chilling, like when you're at the beginning of when you find what you love and a new platform, you're just like figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to share here? Like who do you want to be?
Yeah. How did you sort of make that transition to Instagram and YouTube?
I was already on YouTube just for the sake of like on Tumblr at the time. You had to embed it with a YouTube link or something, or it was really slow to load when you upload it straight to Tumblr.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I just upload like painting videos and put them onto Tumblr that way.
Right.
So
For
I've
YouTube.
had YouTube for a long time, but it wasn't until like 2 years ago that I started posting YouTube-y content
Yeah,
for
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
I think when I moved from Tumblr, I had like 30,000 followers on Tumblr.
Yeah.
I was excited because I think Instagram's a better platform for me because it's
Yeah.
so simple. It's so visually
In your
driven.
face. And it's always in everyone's palms. And
Yeah,
everyone's hands.
exactly. So I really, really liked it as a platform. Like it was simple. It was just like at the time it was just photo and caption.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's a
I
reason
like
why it took off like past the other platforms. So there was Flickr, Tumblr, and all those kind of
Yeah.
platforms, and they were pretty okay. They were good for like communities and stuff, but Instagram was a lot easier.
I think
Yeah.
Instagram was one of the first like big mobile driven apps. Like, because Tumblr
Yeah.
and Flickr were all websites.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So like
true.
the
Yeah.
transition from mobile,
Yeah.
everyone's on it, and it's like, oh, it's so easy. You just scroll, and you just like,
Agreed.
it was chronological back then, so like it's simple.
Good old
I don't
days.
see that much difference. I feel like
Yeah, I don't see much difference at all.
yeah, it's just like meh.
Yeah, it's the algo. If
People
you-
complain about it. I just
How does
don't
it
think
work?
about it. Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, just put out good work.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the key here.
And then if like when that infrastructure changes, if you're just focused on the good work and not the numbers and all that stuff,
Yeah.
you're still gonna be fine.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
gonna be satisfied and happy.
Yeah, it's you don't need to like scramble for anything.
Yeah.
Just like focus on doing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you figure out the algorithm and it works for you for a while, they'll change it, and then you're screwed again. So
Yeah.
But then you don't want to just put all your eggs into one basket. Like, you have multiple platforms, I guess.
Yeah. You're a good example of multiple platforms.
But I didn't mean to. Like, when I was posting on YouTube, I was just like, la, 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 this is fun.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened. I think YouTube might have put me as like a creator on the rise or something, which is when they put it on. I don't know what happened, but suddenly I had like 30,000 new subs. I had like 5,000 subs. I showed you the video, remember?
The one of you drawing
just
at Royal
chilling. Me and Rocket went to
Botanical
botanical gardens, like drawing, and it somehow like got lots of views. I don't know why. I think it was just because it was. I don't really know why still.
Okay.
But then it just started to grow. Now it just like grows quite steadily. I just try and focus on, like, I don't make a lot of videos and I'm not consistent. Like, I'm really inconsistent. Sorry, everyone. But
you make at least one a month.
Yeah, I make one a month.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I didn't have my Squarespace sponsorship, I am making one a month. Because, like, I have...
Contraction.
Yeah, exactly.
Contractually.
So if I didn't have that, I would probably be even worse.
Yeah.
Because
But I guess it's a good thing that you have...
Exactly. It drives me to do it.
like
Like,
good in
I
many
love
ways.
doing it, but as soon as there's, like, my priority is always what's next for work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's not work, it gets pushed down, unfortunately. Like, I have to learn to, like, have a better work-life balance.
Yeah.
That's
What was the
normal.
question?
It's good in lots of different ways because obviously you get paid by Squarespace and you get like the constant videos coming out.
So what you're saying is your audience should be thankful for Squarespace.
Yeah.
Click the link.
Probably we should- no. No, I feel like this relationship I have with Squarespace is like my favorite. This is how I want my business to be. I want it to be companies paying me to make the content that's interesting for my audience.
Yes.
So basically, I don't have to change anything about my vlogs, but they're just it's like a patron.
Yeah. That's
You know?
cool. That's cool.
I've been using Squarespace for like 10 years.
Did you use my code?
I've given out your code actually for people who are like they're asking what like platform they should use, and
that's
like
nice.
use Squarespace and then just use her code.
Oh, thanks, Ben.
But
That's so nice.
yeah, they don't pay me, but I really like the kind of platform.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
No, but I loved it way before they contacted me.
Yeah,
Like
same.
when they emailed us, Chris was like, OMFG, we have to do this. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God. I was so excited. Because
Right.
I was like a big fan for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Like I was using them for 4 years and then we got the email. that
It
they
makes it
wanted
so
to
much
sponsor.
easier to take on brand deals when like that.
They love
yeah.
you when you love them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
How did you grow on Instagram? Like, as in, like, what was the push for you to grow on Instagram? Was there a moment, or you just grow
No, I've
steadily
had like
the whole time?
I've grown quite steadily.
Because you weren't part of the suggested user
No,
list or something.
I didn't
or
even
like-
know that existed.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of us grew that way.
Yeah,
back in the
you
day.
guys have been talking
Yeah.
about that on the podcast, but I didn't know that existed. I feel like I've existed outside of this
Yeah.
whole like I don't get invited
I
to like
think
the
it's a good
Instagram
thing.
parties and all this stuff, and I'm just like, what's going on? I'm
We'll
just like
invite you next
there,
time.
just doing my thing, and like people are like hi, I'm like hey, and that's it.
No, but I think it's a good thing. I think because of that, your audience is much more loyal,
Mm.
and they come for you rather than
Well, I hope so.
I don't know how I found you. Like, I'm not
Wait,
an
how did
illustrator.
we? No, we might have met through Adobe.
How did we meet?
We met at Adobe Make It.
Was that the very first time we met?
That's the first time I remember you guys. Maybe we.
I was
before.
following you before that. I think.
Really?
Pretty sure. I don't know how
Aw.
I found you though.
I think I've been following you before Adobe.
Wow,
I feel
so
like.
nice. Well, I only followed you after because I didn't know you existed before.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry. I didn't know about the suggested user list, so how could I have found you?
Yeah. Fine.
But yeah, I think like in terms of growing on Instagram, it was mainly just like trying to share what I was doing, let people in on the process, because a lot of people don't understand how creative stuff is made.
Yeah.
Like, and they just want to be feeling a part of it is almost like doing it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share the process and also like give a part of myself to my audience, not like really consciously.
Yeah.
It's just naturally what I do.
Yeah.
But it makes them feel like they know you, and I like that. I like
Yeah,
feeling
yeah.
like I like to describe it. It really feels like I'm like in a secret art club on the internet. And It's just
Right.
like my corner of the internet. Like it feels separate because there's not like a lot of negativity.
Yeah.
Whereas I see a lot of other people getting a lot of negativity.
Yeah.
So I feel so like blessed.
I feel like after like a few episodes of this podcast already, like people are already starting to get to know us a little bit more, which
Yeah.
is kind of cool.
That's the plan.
Oh
of
my
this,
gosh,
I
yes.
guess.
This is why I'm so excited because like obviously I know you in real life and I follow you on Instagram and stuff, but it's like a limited platform in how you can be comfortable in
Yeah.
front of your audience. Even on stories, like you have to hold it and you know you're on camera.
Yeah.
Whereas this, we kind of forget what's happening and we're just
Yeah.
talking because we're friends.
Yeah.
So seeing you guys like be your true selves is so cute. Like because you both have like good sense of humor, and Demas can be really savage.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
so funny, and I just
He's
wish
a mean
everyone
dude.
knew about it.
He's a mean dude.
It's so funny. I love it. Like there was like at the start, like you were talking about like how you got your usernames, and then Demas was like, "You're not even Japanese," and then you said something as well. I can't remember what it was in the last episode, but I just found it so funny. I just love it.
No, it's good. It's good that we can like share and be ourselves.
Yeah, I feel like your audience will feel a lot closer to you after doing this for a while.
Yeah, it's been good. I think the response has been really cool to see.
Do you feel like you're getting more comfy?
I think so.
I forget it's there.
Yeah.
Like even when I'm editing, like I look at the sound waves and stuff because I have to cut all the ums and ahs. I just forget it's there.
I mean, it's probably good we don't have a monitor because then otherwise I'd just be like,
Yeah.
it's already been half an hour?
Yeah.
That means we only have 1.5 hours left.
Is it recording? Yeah? You good?
Guys, comment below if you want longer episodes. And if you want this to be released as like a director's cut.
There's gonna be no comments.
Comment now.
Yeah. I followed you because I'm not an illustrator, I'm a photographer. So like my interest in like your kind of genre stuff is quite limited.
Yeah.
So I followed you because I like the way you shared your work.
Actually, I feel like that's the reason I follow you for the same reason because I don't really like really urban-y photography. Like it's always quite heavy.
Yeah.
I think what I liked about your guys' work is the honesty that you have in like your process.
Yeah.
And also how willing you are to let people in the community that you want to create.
Yeah.
Not that I think your work's shit. Like, I think your work is quite good. But I mean, like, I wouldn't really... Like, if I didn't know you, I may not follow you because it's not what inspires me
style,
most.
yeah.
What inspires me most is illustration.
Yeah, that's fine. I think you're allowed to not like certain kind of things. It's like, it's art.
But yeah,
It
I
really
just love that
depends.
you're so open. Cause
I like
don't
that
see-
you're open. Like, you're pretty good on all your social media and you put your brand out there a lot, right? But how do you balance that with your art? People want to see more photos of you and then
Oh, yeah.
that kind of
That's so annoying
almost
because,
takes
like,
over.
when I post a photo... No, it's like, it's so annoying. Like, it's a great problem to have. Like, thank you.
But this is because of YouTube, right? As in,
What?
like, because you kind of grew on YouTube, people are more invested in you.
But even before that, like,
even
when
before
I post
too.
a photo of myself, it gets way... It might just be because photos of people get more engagement or something, but like, it's
not
easy
for
to get
us.
so many... Really?
If
Why?
Look at this mug.
Don't say that!
If we post a photo of ourselves, it doesn't do as well as our photos.
Okay, well, for me, if I post a photo, it automatically gets way more engagement.
Yeah.
Right.
And for a long time, it annoyed me. And so I refused to post photos of myself for a long time. Because I think I was insecure, like, do people like me for my work or for who I am?
Yeah.
Or for my personality or for my face or whatever.
Right.
Because, like, when I'm older, like, I can't rely on that. When I'm not cute anymore, no one will like me anymore if that's the case.
Your personality is very strong and it's good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's like, it shines. Like, you know when I was
Ah!
showing... I was showing Eric the video. And
Which
I was showing the collab video. And I was
yeah.
He literally pressed play.
He literally pressed play and he
Yeah,
goes,
yeah.
wow, this girl has a personality.
You said like one word.
Yeah, you literally
come on.
said like...
Yeah.
And he knew straight away.
Oh,
it was
that's
like,
nice.
It's cool to see that like you shine through like the lens and through the camera.
I mean, like, I don't want who I am and my work to be separate.
yeah.
I really like that I have a close relationship with my audience. I just, for a long time, I think I was insecure because I was like, do I want to be an artist? I don't feel like an artist. I definitely feel like a commercial artist, aka illustrator. Because there's like, in the fine art world, it's pretty cutthroat. And I think for a long time I was like, well, I don't want to like section myself off from that by showing too much of my face all the time. I don't know. I just had this insecurity, but now I just literally don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be a part of like a community that is so cutthroat that it censors people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's a balance,
how
for
did you
sure.
overcome that? Like, as in,
I
how
think
did
that-
you realize that, okay, it's a really good thing to show myself and my art together?
But then you pulled it back
I
enough
think
so your art.
I think I always was doing that, but then I was sharing a studio with this guy, and he was like, we were talking about like art history, like I can't remember, might have been about abstract art, and he was just like, how do you know, like, so why did you know so much about this, why did you choose to be an illustrator and not an artist? And I was like, oh, I didn't know there was a difference. And that, like, really, I was just like, oh my god.
What's the difference?
Yeah, so like I get it now, but I feel way more comfortable calling myself an illustrator, and I prefer illustration as an industry over fine art anyway.
Right.
So I think it just took me to be like, it doesn't matter, like it's what I prefer. Like, I want to make work that fits into this genre. I don't really want to make serious art. Not that fine art has to be serious, but I feel like my work is a bit too playful and silly, or it would take a really long time, or it may not even happen if I was doing fine art, and I don't really want to just force myself to be something just to fit into an industry.
Yep. I want to know, when was the realization that you thought that, you know, this could be what you do for life? Like, this is what you do for a living, and like, when
You've always
did
been
you,
an artist, but
yeah,
like
when did you actually
financially,
realize that
this is viable?
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a lot easier for me because, as I said, my family's really supportive. Also, like, I'm quite privileged that I wasn't like, I didn't grow up like super poor, so I didn't have to like all my paychecks. You know, some kids like they have to pay for their rent as well. I didn't have to do that, so I had the privilege of exploring that avenue.
Yeah.
And also, I have creative people in my family, so I knew that it was. And my older sister's a fine artist,
Oh, right.
so I knew that I could pursue that as a career. But in terms of like, how did I know that I could actually make it, maybe, or like at least make a living from it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to be a designer. Like, I loved illustration, but I was like really excited about design.
Yeah.
And the reason that I started doing illustration was just circumstantial at the time. I still loved it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to try to be freelance, but I was happy being in the design industry.
Right. What was your first paid gig or like paid?
The first
art
thing I did
gig?
with a brand
Your first freelance gig you did
when
yourself?
just at the end of high school.
Oh, just at the end of high school.
Yeah, so with General Pants.
Oh, wow.
They were like, so my friend Jack Tui, do you know him? He's like a videographer,
It
photographer.
sounds really familiar.
You probably know his work. He
Okay.
runs like a video production studio, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, so he was working with General Pants, doing some photography and stuff. His work was on like their gift cards, some of their campaigns. And he went to, like, they needed a live artist for this Halloween event. And he was like, you should check out Shawn. And we had just met off the internet. Like, we went on Tumblr. And we just chilled. We just went to lunch or whatever.
Right.
Which is, like, why the internet's so cool.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, they just, like, hired me to do that. And then after that, I got, like, 12 other jobs from them. Initially, it was, like,
Wow.
I got paid with gift cards, like, for the first job. And I was like, sick. I love General
Look at all my
Pants.
clothes.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, walking down the street. Woo, woo. But then after that, it was like paid work, and I did like a mural at their head office. I don't know if it's still there. It might still be there. And yeah, that was really cool for me because I was just like a teenager, like end of teenagehood.
Wow, it started really early then.
Yeah, and like I was like, I think I'm quite good at just being like, hello, I like to work. I would like more jobs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's how I was raised. They didn't teach me boundaries or something. But at the same time as that, I was on MySpace back then. And there was like this band that I really liked called Never Shout Never.
Okay.
I was like, I want to make album artwork because that was my first taste of design that I loved. Going through like album covers and stuff and CDs design and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the first piece of design that I realized like, oh, that someone made this. Like I really want to do this. I went onto his MySpace account and I found every email account that was on there.
Yeah.
And I just emailed and be like, hi. It's really embarrassing. It's like, here's all my work and it's like several thousand links to all these Tumblr things. It was so bad. Like, get a portfolio. Do not do what I do.
Right.
One of them emailed back. It was his manager and was like, I really like the look of your work. Very impressed. How about we do a test project? And he like got me to design him a tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then after that, he gave me jobs with smaller bands that he managed. And in the end, I got to do some like, not album art, but more the inside covers and stuff. It was just like a dream come true for me. Because like my 14-year-old self was like, oh my God, I'm working for Never Shall Never. So amazing.
Wow, okay. So like reaching out and like...
I like the initiative.
Yeah.
Because I'd never reach out. That's
that's the only time I reached out.
And your fame kind of like brought everything in.
Or I think like once you do it, there's
it
like a
keeps
knock-on
rolling.
effect.
Yeah.
Like another time, like there's stuff that you can will to happen. Like I didn't mean to do this, but it happened because I just put it out there.
Yeah.
Can I tell another story?
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's all about story time here.
story time with me.
Yeah.
There's this band that I loved growing up called Kiss Chasey. Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're great. You should listen to them. Basically, they were having like, it was like, I saw they were having their farewell tour. I was like so heartbroken.
They're
like,
Aussie, right?
Yeah. Because I was obsessed. Like we would like...
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry, but I was just like, I was like, I hate when things end and I hate saying goodbye. So when something like that happens, I'm like, no, just stay around and just like wither away. Like, I don't want you to end. So I bought tickets for my friend and I made a post. I had just done like an illustration of a bear head or something. Like, I think it was like on Illustrator.
Right.
And then I put it up and I was just talking about how like I'm so sad that Kiss Chasey, like their album artwork for like United Paper People was one of the first that was, I was like, that's an artwork.
Yeah.
I want to make stuff like that. It made me like obsessed with design in a
Right.
way. So it was really sad because it was like a formative thing for me. And so I just was like, I made like a post and I was like, wow, blah. I don't know if I tagged them or what, but apparently like some of them followed me. But they said like, would you want to do some merch designs for our farewell tour? And that was like such a dream come true.
That's sick.
And then like people there, they like bought all my shirts. Like the shirt was at the stand, and like people were wearing the shirts. Oh my God, it was so nice.
So you were like still in high school at this
No,
time? Or just
this
after?
was later. This was like, but this
okay.
is another example of just like putting
Yeah,
not
putting
being
your work
afraid
out
to
there.
say what you want.
Yes.
You don't
yes.
have to be like, hey, give me some work. You can just be
Yeah.
like, I would like to do this, and then like someone may see it
Yeah.
and may
Also,
allow you to do it.
You should also wait for them to come to you and pay you. Like if you really like something, let's say for example you love sneakers, right? As an example, then you just start shooting your own sneakers,
Yeah.
and then potentially one day a sneaker brand might reach out to you because you've been shooting all these sneakers.
Yeah, and
So, like, that
it's
kind of
not just like doing it just to get paid. It's also like people don't know what you're capable of if you don't show them.
Yeah.
Like if I want to pursue a new art style, I need to do it first
Yeah.
before someone can be like, oh, she can do wallpaper
Yeah.
or she can do commercial illustration. Like that's the reason why working for General Pants was so amazing, because other brands saw that and were like, oh, she's capable of sticking to deadlines and working with companies that are like quite large.
Yeah. So general pants, they paid you in gift cards, and over time they started paying
Well, just
you
the
as
first
well?
job was with gift cards. The second one I think was money and gift cards, and then it was just like money.
Okay.
But then like, yeah, I don't remember when I started working with them, but it was like a series of 12 jobs. Like it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then I guess from there, how did you figure out like how much you charge? I'm not saying like you should give out the
that's
numbers,
okay.
just to like
As a process. Like,
Oh,
how do you figure that
I
out?
have another story.
Go
Yeah.
on.
So when I was a youth and I was on Tumblr,
youth.
I would like do paintings and I'd sell them for like really cheap on the internet just
Yeah.
because like I was like doing my own thing on the internet. I don't know what I was
Someone
doing.
wants to buy it as well. Like,
Yeah, I was
that's-
like $20 anyone for this painting, and like I would get them to send me cash in the mail. Why would I do that? Oh my god, get an online store. So yeah, that was bad. But my mom like found
What? So
my Tumblr
it
account.
happened. So people were sending you
Yeah,
cash in the mail.
exactly.
Your mom
It was
was
like
like,
$20, and I
Is
was
my daughter selling drugs?
I didn't really care about it because I had like a part-time job at a pizzeria, so
Right.
I was like, got my pizza money, got my pizza.
Is this made in
This is
Italy?
like some side $20.
Great place.
Yeah, so good, right? Waitressing. But then my mom found out that like my mom found my Tumblr and she saw I was like selling my work for $20. She's like, Shawn, you need to start selling your work for more money because it's gonna be really.
wow.
And I was like, I don't care about being rich. I don't care about money. I just want to be happy. And she was like, honey, you can have both. I was like, I was like, oh my god, I can get paid and do what I love. I never
Yeah.
thought about that. And then I just started charging more money.
$1,000
Right.
a piece for like
$1 billion. No. But it's just like, just realizing that you don't have to you don't have to bring the price down just because you love what you do.
Yeah.
It's still the same amount of work. In fact, you should get paid more because you have the passion to do it.
People have that guilt that they're enjoying what they're doing and they think they should put it out there for
Yeah.
like cheap and stuff.
It's
Yeah.
silly because it's like so much. When you care about something, it's so much harder to do it for work because you don't stop thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You,
I always have this problem with like my print store because it's.
What?
I feel like it's quite expensive. The prices
photography
of my
prints are hard.
It's
a
hard.
gig to-
Photography is hard to market.
because a lot of people obviously sell it for much cheaper.
And also people see it on the internet for free, so they're like, why do I have to buy it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it's like I did a lot of work to get this shot
Yeah.
and to edit it, and then I need to go to the print store. I'm sending it myself.
Yes.
It's a lot of work.
Have
in
you
that.
talked about that to get people to understand the value of printed work?
No, not yet.
You
Well,
should.
Yes, we should.
Because sometimes, like, for example, Rocker will probably talk about this when he's on the podcast.
Right.
If he's still going to come on.
He
You
will.
better come on.
But, like, when people question him about his prices, he's like, well, here's what you're paying for. You're paying for my years of experience.
Yeah.
You're paying for my gear. What about my Adobe Creative Cloud membership? What
Yeah.
about this? What about
Insurance,
this?
yeah.
Like, all this stuff that they don't think about.
Yeah.
Do you want someone to come to your wedding and do a bad job? Like, that's the photo is the most important part.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the only thing they're going to have from that day. Do they want a
Yeah.
shitty photo, or should they spend the money on the actual photos that is the only thing they're going to see
Yeah.
for the rest of their lives?
Yes.
So it's like, you just have to educate people on why it's valuable.
I guess people think that it's just something on the wall, that it's a luxury to have. So
But
they
art
it's
is a
art.
luxury.
Exactly. So if you're already thinking of buying a print, then you're already thinking of getting a luxury anyways.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's different because art is like, if you love a piece, every time you walk past it, you're going to feel like so happy.
Yeah.
Can you put a price on happiness?
I-
Worth $1 billion.
I had a cousin who wanted to buy prints for their lounge room.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just do it for cost, like
Yeah.
your family and stuff. They're like, no, I want to pay.
Yeah.
He's like, it's a piece of art and they want to feel like they own it and stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't want me to just give it to them.
So
Yeah.
they paid for it.
I haven't done it yet.
Oh, you still haven't done it yet. Okay.
I've been busy. Sorry, guys.
But it's also like when someone feels attached to the creative, they want to also help them to continue doing
Yeah.
what they love, which is amazing. So I
Yeah.
think that's another reason it's a good idea to introduce your audience to you as a person and not
Yeah.
just your work.
I've been getting a few sales here and there, and when they story it arriving in frame,
Oh, it's so nice.
It feels
It's so fun.
cool. Yeah, it's so cool to see that your work is in someone's house. And
Yeah.
stuff. Like, it's
Have
pretty
you
cool.
seen that Venn diagram? Like, you know the 3 circles?
Oh,
you go.
is it like people that ask for prints, people that... Wait. I think it's by Adam J. Kurtz,
Yeah,
right?
I saw that.
Wait,
a
let's
while
look it
ago.
up. Let's get it.
Oh, right.
So it's like, make this a print, people who buy prints, and then it's 2 people maybe. It's
Yeah.
true. Like,
Yeah.
so how do you print? Do you print to order?
Print to order.
I think
yeah.
that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, and I have a shop that I go to in the city that's pretty close to my office, and they're
Yeah.
really nice. Like, I send them the file, I come in and I sign it,
Yeah.
and then they ship it for me. So it's
Pretty
pretty good. Yeah.
I think
Good
if I'm
process.
going to do it, I'm only going to open the store for like a few weeks a year. And if
Yeah.
people want it, then
You could do limited edition. I've seen people do limited edition by time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they're only selling this print for 24 hours. Like, instead of being like, I have 100 of these prints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm only selling these for 24 hours, and then whoever gets it in the 24 hours, and that's it.
How do you
Yeah.
decide which one to put up? Because like I have a lot of photos, and like
Yeah.
when I ask people what they want, it's like everyone wants a single different photo.
Yeah.
And I can't-
Well, I have a lot of different levels of work, so I would only ever make a print of finished artwork. So I share a lot of sketches, I share a lot of work in progress, videos, blah, 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 but I do very few finished paintings.
Haven't you done like zines where it's like your sketchbook?
Yeah, that's true. But that's different because it's like... I see prints as being like a harder purchase for people to get because it's more expensive.
Whereas zines
they have
are
limited
smaller.
wall space. Whereas a zine, I could buy like when I go to zine fairs, I spend hundreds of dollars.
Right.
It's not great.
How
What's
much
great
is a
for
zine?
me, like $10,
Okay.
or like sometimes $20.
Yeah. The topic we're talking about is like, how did you be confident enough to charge X your store stuff and like client work as well?
Because we have problems of like how much should I charge for what they're asking for? We don't know. Like we didn't come from an agency. We don't know the fees. And like at the start we were charging way too little. We weren't charging enough to cover like all the fees of like insurance and that kind of stuff. We were just so excited to do it and we did it. And then as we started to learn all these like costs and stuff, then we started building up, and me and this guy bounced off each other. Yeah. And like
that's how we learned how to
pick
up prices.
Community.
Pretty rough.
Yeah,
pretty
through
rough
community.
kind of way to learn.
I don't really know. I think it's also demand. Like I just raise my price when I get too much work. I just raise my prices. It was easier at the start to say no to things because the work wasn't as interesting. Yeah. And the clients weren't willing to pay as much. But now, like, I need to do another reassessment because the clients are willing to pay and it's really interesting jobs. So I'm just saying yes to everything. I'm going to have a mental breakdown.
Right.
I think because I had a job also at an agency, I was just like, this much? Yeah. And then I would just test, like, how high I could go.
That's sort of what we did as well. Like, we just kind of, like, experimented and
Not
tested.
Not that I'm trying to charge more than I'm worth, but what it's worth to me is the most important part. Yeah. And if I'm getting enough work, like, why shouldn't I charge as much as I want?
For me, the answer is always
for
like...
client work.
Yeah.
For personal work, there's obviously, like, for prints and zines, there's obviously a level of how much people pay for those items. Yes. And I don't want to swindle my audience. I want them to have pieces of me that they can have at home.
There's a balance of, like, how much they're willing to pay and, like, me wanting to have my art in people's homes.
Yeah. So I risk printing a lot of stuff enough for people, like interesting personal projects that's funded by my commercial work. So I charge enough in my commercial so they have room to play with my personal work.
Yeah. I always say, like, always ask yourself, like, would you be comfortable doing this job for this? If not, then raise it. Like, just think about it and, like, if $500 is enough, then do it. For you, then do it. If not, just keep pushing that number up until you're happy and comfortable doing that job.
And it's also good to have, like, an idea of how much you charge for certain types of work before you get any sort of briefs across your desk. But also keeping in mind, like, non-monetary value for work. So for when I was starting out, working with General Pants for gift cards was way more valuable than working for money. Yes. Because I wanted that brand named. I was so stoked to work with a huge company, and then it allowed other companies to see that I was capable of doing that. So the monetary value there was an investment of my time and not... The value there was an investment of my time and not like, oh, here's a wad of cash.
We were talking about how we started off like Adidas, we just did it for free shoes and stuff like that.
See episode 4.
That was back in episode 4.
Are we YouTubing properly? I don't know.
I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not an expert.
Which corner is it on?
There.
There you go.
But then I think also if you charge too cheap, then you're not going to be happy doing the work because then you're like, oh no, this is so cheap. What am I doing? And then if you're charging too expensive, you put so much pressure on yourself. Yeah. Like that kind of stuff. You got to find the right balance, I think.
I think that's the difference between a hobbyist and a professional. Like, hobbyists will charge low because they love to do it and they think that that should limit them. But then that doesn't allow you to have time to develop, and you just get stuck in doing commissions and work that you don't love. Like, commissions are not fun. I don't do commissions. I haven't done commissions for so long. Just because I realized, like, doing other people's ideas, or like, I wanted to make my own work. I can make money other ways. And I think in the end, people are happier with me making my own work than strangers' ideas. Does that make sense?
They give you like a brief and you just have to follow it, and it becomes work.
You can say no, but it's like, it's hard to say no when you're living from job to job. Whereas if you're kind of going for like larger jobs and using that money to fund your personal projects, like that's like, okay. I feel like a lot of people think that doing work with larger companies is selling out. But like, what's more lame? Like, not being able to do what you love forever? Or getting paid enough so that you can do this forever?
I have a friend
who's sustainable.
He's very kind of like hesitant to look like he's selling out.
Who cares what people think?
Yeah, but like that, it kind of... I think if you make a lot of money doing this kind of stuff, right, it buys you options. Like, that's what money is to me. Buys you options to keep doing what you want to do. But in general,
like, don't worry about what people think. Like, if people are going to judge you for getting paid for what you love, that's really weird.
Yeah.
And also, like, if they have a problem with it, that's fine. Like, they don't have to consume the content that you're making, but it's like... I want to be able to save and still be able to buy a house, or like I want to be able to fund the projects that I want, which aren't going to make money. The work that I say yes to for commercial stuff is always stuff that I'm willing to do. Like I'm happy to do it. It's with companies I love, with stuff where I can make interesting content and stuff that hopefully is valuable to my audience aside. Like for me, it's like we say a no to a lot of people. Like it goes to Chris before it even comes to me. So Chris knows the kind of work that I want.
Chat about Chris's role.
But, the infamous Chris.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris.
How did you meet Chris and how did you begin this relationship? So who's Chris first?
Chris is my producer.
He's your producer. Okay.
Yes. And so the way that I met him was another story of me just being like, hello.
Just off the street line.
So like he was helping to run the Tate Gallery, which is above the Toxteth Hotel.
Yeah.
Where's that?
In Glebe.
Okay.
At the time, and there was like, and he was also doing this other space, like the Standard Hotel or something. I can't remember.
He does a lot of things.
Yeah, he does a lot of things.
Yeah.
I like that. But he basically, there was a call out for someone who like, if anyone wanted to like help do murals in this space. I was like, I can do it. I was like, hello, here's my work, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I don't know if your work's like right for this job, but you should have a show at the Tate. I was like, okay. And then in my head, I was like, that was just a nice way of saying no. La, 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 carry on with my life. And then he was like, a week later, he was like, no, seriously, you should have a show at the Tate. I think your work will be great for it. I'm like, okay. And so I like put together a solo show. This was like in the second year of uni or something. I did that, and then later he offered me a studio space in that, like, so there was a gallery and there was all these studio spaces with lots of artists, and he offered me a studio space. And so he's been like really instrumental in my art career.
Right.
Like, I'm really thankful that I ever crossed paths with Chris. Like, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And then later when I was working in an agency, we were just friends at this stage. I was just like, Chris, I can't do this. Like, all I have time for is emails. I can just get home and all I can do is emails. I have no time for anything else. And he's like, I'll do your emails. I was like, cool. And he was running galleries, so he's in touch with like the art community here in Sydney. He knows where to manufacture everything. If I want to make something, he knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And like, he's very stern. So we're a good team when we go into meetings. He like remembers all the stuff we need to ask. I just go in and be myself and be like, la la la. And then he's like, blah, blah, blah. And he's kind of like scary looking, he has lots of tattoos and stuff. So he's like, so no one wants to mess with him as well. So it's really good. It's like a really good balance.
Right.
Because I think if I went in by myself, people would think that I'm a pushover. I'm not a pushover, but like they would assume that I am. Yeah, so I'm up to the bit where he's my producer now. So then he started working with me and running my store, because I also didn't have time to do all the runs, to post runs and stuff.
Right.
So he basically runs my store and does all my client work, comes to my meetings with me, helps me look over contracts, stuff like that. But I think another good reason... Wait, I already told you this, right? That article I read about how like people don't listen to women. Like clients like give women trouble.
But you can...
Okay, so I read this article where, I don't know what happened, but these two producers' email signatures switched.
Yeah.
One was a male and one was a female.
Yeah.
And suddenly the female's life got a lot easier. And the man was like, why are all these clients being so annoying now?
Yeah.
And it was purely because like people think that they can get more like you know what I mean. So like it's good to have a man like that's doing my emails, because he can demand something and people less frequently will say
a man
no.
under
So people see me, I'm like light and bubbly.
Yeah.
And I'm a woman. I'm not saying everyone's like, I can get away with whatever with a woman, but it's just like, if there's a man, there's like a sense of authority for people that feel that way. And so they're not going to try and push. Like, Chris doesn't like to bargain.
Right.
Yeah.
So if someone is trying to bargain with us, he's like, no.
Right.
Or if they're like, oh, actually, we wanted this many stories, he's like, well, that's this same price for each story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's
exactly.
very stern.
Yeah.
Because when I get into business stuff, I can feel myself getting more and more serious.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's how people become adults, and people crumble and become soulless.
Wow.
Not that Chris is soulless, but he can handle it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't affect him
It's a
as
skill.
much. Yeah, he can turn it on and off. So I think it's like a really good thing for me to have.
Does he work with any other artists?
At the start, he had like an artist management agency,
Yeah.
but in the end, like it might not have been right for those artists, because obviously I pay Chris a percentage of the work that he works on.
Yeah.
So maybe like artists that weren't bringing in as much money couldn't afford that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or it just wasn't the right structure for them.
Yeah.
I've been talking about trying to potentially get like help.
I recommend it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to
Chris want to help us?
Ask him, maybe. I mean, he's got a lot on his plate at the moment. You know, he runs so many businesses.
That's a good tip though, of like changing, because I know people who their accounting kind of email, they have like a persona. Bill at billing. So then
imagine Chris isn't real.
Yeah.
Just a lie.
I've never seen him before.
I'm running all the businesses.
Have you met him? You've never met him before?
No.
Yeah.
I'll introduce you if he's at the thing.
Okay.
Is he real?
He's real, I think, unless it's an imaginary friend.
But if you create like an email, say like john@billing.com, and you can just ask for money and be more blunt about it. Whereas like if it's me asking like, hey,
that's true. I've never thought about that before.
Hey, speak to your time.
Like you can just like go, I'll speak to my agent. Like you just push it to.
Yeah. But that is one of the smaller benefits. I feel like the best benefit is not having to deal with emails because it really like gets in anything that gets in the way of the like anything that isn't the thing that I have to do creatively. I just delegate.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I don't want to do emails. I don't want to do my accounting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what we need.
You should do it
because we do like
you just have to find the right person because like not everyone knows someone like Chris. Like Chris is like 1 in a million.
Yeah, right.
You need to trust them because like they're essentially speaking on your behalf.
Yeah, or you could get an agent, but like.
Do you talk to Chris about like strategy and like what things you should be doing, what things you shouldn't be doing, like that kind of stuff as well? Or?
We do have weeklies.
Yeah.
So we used to do weekly meetings. Now it's sometimes like email weeklies.
Yeah.
But I just talk about like, okay, here's the stuff I want you to do. Here's the stuff I'm doing this week. What do you need me to do?
Yeah.
And then if he will like let me know. Like he's always straight up with me. If he doesn't think something's right, he won't do it. If he thinks I'm charging too much, he'll tell me. If he thinks I'm not charging enough, he'll tell me.
Yeah, right.
So it's like another ear also to just bounce business stuff off of.
Yeah.
There's not much strategy. It's more just like, oh, what jobs do I have and what do I want to do?
You do so many things. I've seen like you just came back from the US and like how do you manage doing so many different things and like. Does it stress you out?
Yes.
Like,
oh my god, I'm so stressed. I haven't done personal work for a long time because I've just had so many cool stuff come up.
Yeah, you were talking to me on the weekend about how like I'm doing so much spawn stuff.
Yeah, and it worries me because like it's I try and space out spawn stuff because it's always projects I want to do. Like I never do something I don't want to do. Yeah. But sometimes it like gets to the point where the posting times overlap, and so I've been doing like quite a lot, and I feel like I hope my audience doesn't think I'm turning into an advertising page. Everything is a project that I love and want to work on and believe in.
Yeah.
But it could, because I use the paid partnership thing, because I think it's the most ethical way to show that you're working with a company.
Yeah.
I worry that people think I'm just like not doing personal work because like CBF. It's more just like that's exciting to me. Like client work is always exciting to me.
Yeah.
I still need to like pull back. I need to now reassess like what my standards are and stuff so that I can say no to more stuff. But
I never thought about like looking at social media like that way.
What do you mean?
Until I met you, like you're very thoughtful about how you kind of put stuff out. So when we went on that first kind of Adobe Max trip in Las Vegas, just hearing you talk about these kind of things in that kind of way, it was like, oh,
I don't really even remember what I said.
Yeah, you probably don't.
What did she say?
Just her way of thinking of like thinking to space out sponsored posts and like I never gave that much thought.
It's not even like I want to space out these. It's like I just don't want to do too much because like
very thoughtful about
my audience is there for my personal work.
Yeah.
And like it is advertising, even if it's something that I'm willing to do or a company that I love, it's still something that they haven't opted into.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm lucky that my corner of the internet is so positive that when I do spawn, they're like, get that coin, sis. You know what I mean? It's so cute.
Yeah.
In the end, my audience being there and being there to see my work is so important to me.
Yeah.
Because I've been sharing the entire time I've been working on illustration, when I've been serious about it, it feels only finished when like I get feedback from my audience. Like it's like my work is created for myself, but also so that other people can feel it.
Yep.
So if they're not there to do that, that would be pretty shit. Like I'd rather just get a day job and do illustration on the side.
Yeah.
If that's the trade-off, you know?
Yeah. How do you feel about like changing styles and like changing mediums, that kind of stuff? So like obviously your audience isn't used to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you transition different styles and different mediums? How do you transition your own style?
Yeah. I'm very big on like if I need a change, I'll do it. But you still have to think about introducing it to your audience in a specific way because, you know, like say like a camera brand is bringing out a new model of thing. Of course, they're like 5 models ahead, but they have to like introduce the audience to it. Because remember when digital first came out, Kodak's like digital and everyone's like, no. And then they got rejected and then now they're like not really around. Because they didn't introduce it slowly in a way that was palatable. Oh, and also when I first did digital, I was like, I'm doing digital, guys. Because like Wacom wanted to work with me. And then people were like, ew, digital art, I hate that. Because I was only doing watercolors. I was like, oh my God. So you have to, like, for your own sake and for theirs, process your new, like, so figure out your new style yourself, process it. And when it's ready and it still fits within the universe of your work, then you can show it to them. So I was working on my character stuff like 6 months before I even, like, showed it to anyone.
Because I feel like for me now at this point in time, I think my Photoshop work and like the more surreal stuff does much better. I'm just talking about engagement, but like people are more receptive to that kind of stuff. Whereas if I go back and like just post a photo that I like, just like straight up photo edited.
You shouldn't let that kind of dictate.
But
I'm not dictating. I'm just saying like people.
You notice.
I notice that people are more receptive to.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm still gonna post what I like.
Yeah.
But people don't receive it the same way as other things.
But remember, it might not be like your pre-existing audience might love it. It's just maybe there's new people coming in because the surreal stuff is like, wow. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
So it might not be like your audience is like more receptive. That might be like you're getting more new people because of. I need to sneeze.
Can I zoom in your head?
Bless you.
Bless you.
Bless you. Oh, bless you.
Bless you. One more.
Whoa.
Excuse me.
How many is that? 6?
4.
Oh, right. I think recently I was featured on Photoshop and stuff like that, so I think like all this new audience came who love Photoshop stuff, and so I think it's a little bit different.
I have a term I came up with. It's called like insta pushing. So like,
what's that?
You post, you get insta
I've never heard of this word.
I spoke to you about it, bro.
Ben's keeping it from himself.
I've never heard of insta pushing before.
Yeah, but like, you post one photo and it doesn't do that well, then you post another like type of photo. So you post landscape and then you post a city shot, and the city shot does really well.
Yep.
And then you start doing more city shots, and like eventually you get pushed in one direction.
Yeah.
I get that. I mean, it's not about like doing what people love, but it's about like understanding what people are receptive to.
Yes.
Because if you're creating like people that are like, I only create work for myself, I'm like, then why do you share it?
Yeah, there's that
like, why do you share it at all if it's just for you?
But I guess that's sort of how people get big on Instagram these days, because they see that, oh, this drone shot does so well, I'm going to keep doing drone shots forever.
It's a slippery slope though.
Oh, that's
like,
bad.
Yeah.
Because if you're like, oh, I'm going to do this because it's great. Like, you know what you should do? Okay, here's my rule.
Go on.
My rule is that I allow trends to affect the way that I present my work, but I don't allow trends to affect the work I'm making.
Yeah.
So I find that like flat lays do really, like when I first moved to Instagram, I was more inspired by lifestyle influencers and food influencers or like bloggers
By the
or
way
whatever.
they present their work.
Because they were doing flat lays and like a lot of illustrators weren't doing that.
Yeah.
But it tells like a whole new story. It's like, what's the scale of the work?
Yes.
What did I use to make the work? How big is it in relation to a hand? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it has all this other information. Like I allow it to affect my work in that way, but not allow it to affect the work I'm making and stuff. Admire you guys for putting so much effort into like all these ways to network.
Events,
because I'd never done it. Like that.
First Insta-me, you came out.
Yeah, I went to like yours, right?
Oh, yes.
I was just like, what is this? And I was like, there's so many people.
Yeah, you came with Rocket. And then I lost you. And then
it's
we
fine.
went to the
I was
pub.
with Matt, and then we went to, I think I had to go to the toilet, so I just left.
Slap bomb.
I was like, gotta go! I'm busting! Follow trends to get a sense of how people want to consume your work, but don't allow it to affect the actual work you're making.
That makes sense. Don't be insta-pushed.
Yeah.
So you're like, insta-push, and I'm like, don't do it.
Yeah. I think it's okay. Instagram and like other social media, it's a good way to get feedback really quickly.
It's a good way to find out what your audience is liking and not liking, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But at the same time, you shouldn't be driven by your audience.
No, because sometimes you just need to be a tastemaker.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to have the vision, and then people will follow later. If you really want to change your stuff up, your current audience may not like it, and then you have to find a new audience.
Sometimes I'm like, oh man, this is not really my style, but I really like it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does really well. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
And other times it doesn't do so well. But like, it's point of experimenting and like finding out who you are as an artist and what you want to make. And
it might just be a matter of you not storytelling well.
Yeah.
If you change your style, you need to let people understand how you got there. Otherwise, they're going to be like, huh? This is a new person.
Like, we obviously look for content a lot. Like, sometimes we run out of content and we go back into our archives and find new things.
Oh.
And so that's
that's
sort of what we do to like get more content. So we look at where we've been in the past and try to make new content from that.
Yeah, because obviously if you want to make new content, you have to go out and shoot it. Whereas I can just be like...
whatever's in my mind today.
So whereas we just look at our old files and see
what you can make out of it.
What I can make out of it, or like what edit, or what do we miss? Like sometimes new stuff... Sometimes
not
when you
so
look
much
at...
for me, like you Photoshop and stuff, whereas like
but sometimes
I just go back
your
and
old
look
stuff,
at old photos.
You don't realize they were good until now.
Yeah, sometimes you find gems. Diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, so then like lately I've been doing more of that because I haven't been shooting as much.
Yeah.
So I'm always like thinking, I don't know, is my audience gonna think I'm weird because I'm like posting LA, Tokyo, Sydney, like it's like everywhere. It's not like...
Do they? How do they feel?
I think it's been okay.
People don't know where I am. It's fine.
Yeah, but I think also because I find that engagement's been a little bit down because the likes have gone. Like, the likes have disappeared. I feel like that in general just has made people like stuff less.
Interesting.
Just like in general.
I wonder why. Nate says that he doesn't. He's like, how will I know what to like? How will I know what's popular? I'm like, huh?
Oh, because he...
So okay, he like bases some of his likes off of what other people like, but also he bases
psychological
he bases what he... Because he runs a company, not his own personal work. Yeah.
It's important.
So he needs to know what people like.
That's a good point. A good point.
Yeah, but I whatever. I mean, it's just engagement.
Yeah, I know. Like, people already following us anyway, so it's like they should... Yeah. It's I agree.
I just want them to see it, and like I just want some people to resonate with it.
Go back to like how you can just like as an illustrator you can just put whatever's in your mind onto the paper, whereas we have to go and like we can only shoot a certain thing a certain way. So how do you find inspiration? Do you like when you see people's work, does it like stick in your mind?
It's not really that. Like the way that other people's work inspires me is kind of like they're making cool stuff. I want to make cool stuff. It motivates me more than inspires me. Sometimes it inspires me to try new mediums and stuff, but I usually find inspiration in the world around me. A lot of my work is like its own world, but it's based on the world, my own experiences. So like my favorite way, like I posted a sketch today and basically I was just saying my favorite way to learn to draw something new is to go out and draw it in real life and then simplify it into the style.
The tree?
The trees. Yeah. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
Do you look at other people's work for inspiration?
Not actively. So like if I get inspired by someone, cool. But I'm not like time for inspo, time to scroll through. Like I really don't like doing that. I feel like true inspiration strikes unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Like you can seek stuff that can motivate you, but true inspiration is like it comes in the shower or like comes like in random. Like the best ideas, like the ones that you should pursue are like random. Like they're like a amalgamation of all your different experiences, like, and they're just like squished together in your brain or something.
My Plane in the Forest thing came in the shower.
Really? Oh my god, my book came in the shower.
Showers are the best.
Yeah, let's shower more.
Just turn the shower and just sit there.
Our skin is like raw, but like I didn't have any ideas.
Yeah, but that Plane in the Forest idea, I was like, what if I combine that together? And then I just came out of the shower and started doing it.
So good. Imagine if you didn't do it.
Yeah.
I always think about that.
Imagine if I would stink.
I always think like, imagine I didn't do this. Like I've been doing this lately where I just ask for stuff. Like if a client wants to do something and they have a budget in mind, I just ask for more money. And it's just like, they say yes, like, because then no one's going to offer their best price. Yeah. And you could do it like, if you want a project, just ask for it.
Yeah.
If you don't ask for it, no one's going to know you want to do it. So they won't give it to you.
Have you ever pitched?
Nah, do you mean like free pitches? Like, oh, you're competing against other people for work?
Cold emails. You have you have an idea and you just like...
just randomly pitch an idea to a client. Yeah. I find that really hard to do because...
You need pitch decks and...
And we were saying that like clients probably... Clients already have a budget and already have a vision. So like if you just randomly pitch something, like it might just... it might go nowhere.
I like to pitch within projects. So when a client comes to me with a brief... I want it to be something that really is so interesting to my audience or like so interesting. Like I want to give it another level of intrigue. So I'm like, okay, we can do this. Like what do they want to achieve? And here's how I would do it. So I offer them another idea and usually they'll take it because it's great. It's like, I understand myself. I understand my work and I'm used to working in an agency. So I kind of understand like where they're coming from as well.
Yeah. But I guess if the work is for them, then they sort of have a little bit more control. But if it's for you, then you can sort of...
But if you don't ask, you definitely won't get what you want.
How often do you do work that's like not for your audience or like they don't need you to share it?
The Sydney Water stuff. Well, I mean, I shared the Sydney Water stuff, but that was for their social.
Are there ever times where like you don't want to share? Like you're obviously the client's happy with it.
I don't accept work I don't want to do.
Okay.
So if there's something that I wouldn't want to do, I just say no. Because I'm in a very privileged position where I'm getting enough well-paid work to say no to everything. And I have multiple streams of income. So I'm not only relying on client work or Spawn or my book or my store. So if I need to put one of those on the back burner to stay true to what I want to do, I will do that.
Yeah.
It's good.
But that is a place of privilege. Like not everyone, like saying like, why would you do work you don't want to do? Like, I understand the hustle. When I started, I was saying yes to more stuff that I was like, I was more unhappy with the outcome of some of my work. But now it's like, if I'm confident that I can make something great that I love, that my audience loves, and that the client will love, I will do it.
I think it's good because I mean, the last few weeks I've been telling Ben that like I feel like sort of because we started photography through Instagram and social media and stuff like that. So I feel like the last few weeks or maybe a few months. Like social media work and influencer work has declined. I feel Like, I feel like...
Is there a recession?
I don't know.
Influencer recession.
I've had a lot of contracts for the rest of the year, so I haven't felt that yet. But maybe I'll feel... That's kind of scary because I do worry, like, I'm doing really well this year, but I don't have enough time for personal work.
Right.
So... But then there's still that thing in the back of mind. It's like, well, I have to earn money because what if next year no one wants to pay me?
That's like a freelancer fear.
Freelancer fear.
That's how I feel kind of right now. Did we just come up with that? Freelancer
so you're okay because you have a job as well.
Yeah, so I guess like kind of like at the beginning of this year, I was doing okay and I was happy and I was like, this is really cool. I'm working on lots of projects, lots of jobs. And then now I'm like, am I able to just like quit or not? Or like it's sort of making me question it because the social media stuff is
You should
sort of
write it out then.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm still here. I'm still doing it.
We deal with this like as a freelancer. It's always a constant fear.
Yeah. Like, how many streams of income do you have?
Well, right now it's probably like I don't reach out. Right.
You have architecture.
Yep.
You have your Spawn.
Yeah, but Spawn's not coming very often. Princeton.
Spawn was like reliable for a while, but like.
But the thing is, like, you're not. If you had to push it, you could.
I think so. I think if
you reached out, you could probably get it. You just have to remind people you exist.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. It's like a horror movie. What about you?
What was the question? Sorry.
Like, how many streams of income do you have? Like, how do you live as a freelancer? You don't have to say.
Day.
You don't have to say how much you earn, but like, what do you earn money from?
The majority these days is like commercial kind of work, so I don't even share it. That stuff, but then I also get like little things on the side.
Yeah.
Like,
but then like I guess
during those,
like I had contracts last year, and it's sort of right now there isn't one.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm sort of a little bit wary. It's like, like, what do I do?
Everyone has that though.
Yeah.
For me, like this year it hasn't been so much, but the previous years, like winters were not great for me. I don't know why. I think people want to spend money in summer.
Winter is coming, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think you should worry about it. I think there's always an ebb and flow. And you know what? Maybe you should use this as an opportunity to reassess your work. How
definitely.
you want to change it and stuff while there's like a down.
Definitely.
They're quiet periods. It just happens.
Quiet periods.
I think I've had quiet periods in the past, but it's like right now because of all this change on Instagram and because Instagram.
Oh, there's a lot of changes.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking about these changes when you were full time, but now that you're like kind of thinking of you're part time now, but also thinking of trying to go full time. 5 to 9.
Yeah, 5 to 9.
But then now you're starting to see like all the kind of. It's always been there though. There's like quiet periods and like I think people who are new to freelance, when there's a quiet period, they panic and they're like, oh shit, like is this what I should be doing? Should I go back to?
Yeah.
But it's like, hopefully you've only gone freelance because you're getting enough work and you have savings. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't recommend going freelance if you don't because you're screwed. Like, do you want to eat?
Yeah.
And also when invoices aren't paid on time. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many variables when you're freelancing. Like, the landscape is forever changing. Your clients are always changing. Like, the rules are always changing. So it's like, you have to be willing to adapt and you have to have, like, a backup.
Yeah.
If
like,
you have downtime.
What's the longest period you've had to deal with of a client not paying or like paying you late?
Oh, mine are pretty good. A lot of them are like agencies, so they're pretty on top of it.
Some of them,
we haven't had to chase much, and if we do, Chris chases them.
I still haven't got to pay for my Japan gig.
Oh,
because
put them on blast. Who are they? No, I'm just kidding.
It's because they need certain documents to be able to release the money from Japan.
Oh.
And the Australian government's hasn't given me the documents yet, so it's like lots of stuff. But like that's been since January.
Yeah.
I'm quite lucky I haven't had that experience. I don't know. Who do you work with that does that? Okay, not who, but like what kind of company? Well, like, is it a small company, single person?
Big. Usually they're big.
Oh, they're big and they're not paying you?
They're like payment-wise, for me, it's been pretty good.
The big ones, like they have a lot of like you have to get into their system.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it takes a month.
Oh, they have a special like invoicing system.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Squarespace does that, but I don't have to do it.
Right.
There's back to it. Like I think have a lot of money saved up. Because they might take forever to pay you and like you need to eat.
Yeah, I think also like for me, I'm sort of feeling a little bit pressure because I want to buy a house. I want to do all this stuff and like it's
adult things.
Yeah, So
Adulting.
Like that stuff makes me think: can I do this full time? Can I quit architecture? Can I? Yeah.
You're lucky that you have another job that you love though, because like if someone doesn't like the job, is it really worth buying a house to be unhappy forever? You know what I mean?
I agree.
Or do you want to try and really propel yourself through stuff that you love? Like, obviously, we are all coming from a place of privilege because to freelance is to not be, like, to be quite privileged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, I mean, the last few weeks and months, I feel like my brain hasn't been in architecture. Like, as in, like, I feel like also...
Should be saying this.
No, I mean, like, I think... Yeah, also because, you know, we're starting this podcast and trying to start YouTube. I'm like, I'm getting excited from different things, which is good. But obviously at the moment there's no like reward yet. But
no,
you just have to keep pushing. Yeah, you have to keep pushing it and see how we go.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's been fun.
You get to get people like you on.
I get to take a day off work every week just to talk to
Woo,
friends.
to do more work? Like, shouldn't you be relaxing?
This guy.
No, this is my form of relaxing. Just chatting, you know? I kind of want to ask you, obviously, like, people see the cool stuff and, like, people see, you know, Shawn doing such amazing work. Is there any part where, like, the stressful times...
Tell us the real things.
Yeah.
Like, I share that stuff.
Yeah.
So the reason I started my studio vlogs is because I wanted to give, like, a well-rounded view of what an illustrator does. So a lot of people see illustration as, like, oh, they get to draw all day. And that's what I tell kids because I want them to pursue illustration if they want to.
Yeah.
But actually, like, there's all this business side. There's meetings, there's contracts, there's, like, pitches, there's concepting, like, going through client work. There's having breakdowns because, like, you're overbooking yourself and stuff. And I show that stuff. Like, I've cried on... Like, I don't sit down, set up and go, bah! But I'm, like, I feel myself to call Rocket to tell him what I'm doing. Like, just kind of remembering what to capture. And, like, mid-conversation, I'm just, like, almost bursting into tears. And I'm always, like, should I put this in? Is it too raw? Like, I don't want... Like, there has to be a fine balance between something that's palatable and something that's real.
Yeah.
So when I have, like, I usually put it in because I, like, don't really have any shame.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then people really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because, like, they are having the same struggles on, like, a smaller scale in the way that it's, like, they are less far into their career than I am, but they're seeing that even I'm having those struggles.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Oh, yeah. I try and show that stuff. And you choose your platform. You don't want to do it in a way that people are like, ooh, what the frig? Like, they don't come to Instagram for, like, real, you know?
Yeah.
On LinkedIn,
Always.
you're like
Yeah, but
crying.
that's why I'm saying they just see us posting photos and they think that our life is so cool and, like, we...
But you're
know,
honest about, like, your process. And
They
like,
still don't know. Like, I was on a trip for a client with Matt. And, we were on a trip and everyone else was paying, but we were there for work.
Yeah.
And they're like, when they found out we were there for work, they're like, oh, you're getting paid? We have to pay for this. And, like, you get to do the things we're doing.
I mean,
and,
a lot
like,
of people
they
are
don't
like, oh, freelance life. But there's all these things like you have to do your invoices, you have to do your accounting, you have to pay your own taxes, you have to pay your own salary. You have to, like, deal with clients, you have to deal with difficult clients. Like, you have to deal with, like, the stress of being creative, which is, like, the very blurred line between being on and off work.
Yeah.
You have to deal with, like, so much, and you can't turn off all the time. And because you care so much, you don't really want to turn off, which is really unhealthy.
Yeah.
While we're on that, how do you separate? Like, you work and live at home.
Yeah,
like,
so basically, okay, here's my house. This is my bedroom, and then this is my studio. And so I'm like, do a roll out of bed in my pajamas or naked, and then in my studio.
Like, some people put on work clothes. I know, like...
Sometimes if I feel unmotivated, I'll, like... I'll be like, time to put on clothes so I feel like a human, but... Yeah, I don't know. The balance is hard. I'm getting better. Like, I used to be really bad at seeing. I don't think I'm a workaholic. I just think I, like, prioritize work above everything else.
Yeah.
Like, it's my relationship and work, but I never prioritized friends before.
Yeah.
But I think in the last few years, I've just not prioritized it, but relaxed a little bit on the work. Like, they don't need it all now. Like, the clients don't need me to work all night. And I was young, so I was able to do that. But I can see my body taking a toll, like, my mind, it's taking a toll on me. Yeah. So, like, hanging out with you guys or, like...
I feel like we've been hanging out a lot more lately. It's really fun.
See you again tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, that'll be fun. So, like making...
We're having games night.
Finding... balance is hard, but you just have to, like... I mean, I'm not there where I want to be in terms of balance, but you just have to actively pursue it. It's like, it has to be a priority for you. Otherwise...
Do you stop work at a certain time and, like...
Not really.
Do you break?
I just know that, like, you can only really have, like... I heard you can only work productively for 4 hours. Right. Like, really productively before you start getting distracted. Yeah. So I like to, like... we joined a gym. Me and Rocket joined a gym. We don't go that much anymore, but there was a point where we were going, like, every day. So it was a really nice way to break up the day. Yeah. So I could do, like, 4 hours of work, go to the gym and reset.
Yeah. Do it again. Yeah.
Do, like, a really long day.
Yeah.
How do you separate?
Like, I'm still figuring that out. I find it difficult. I don't have, like, work days. Yeah. I have my... like, I'm, like, ruled by to-do lists. To-do lists are my life.
So right now, are you really busy with client work all the time, or, like, do you...
Yeah.
Right.
I've had very little time. Like, extending my trip in New York was my little, like... No client work, but still I had to send stuff, you know?
And what happens when, like, you're on a bit of a downtime? Like, when there's no client work, do you think of your own personal projects, or do you chill out? Do you relax?
Depends how much time there is, but, like, a good amount of time, like, what would you...
It depends. Like, right now I don't have that luxury. Right. Not that it's like, it's actually a luxury to be able to have that problem of being like, I have too much work. But it's like, I don't have a big space of time. Like, I will be starting my second book soon. And I have 2 contracts for the rest of the year. So every month I'm producing content for the rest of the year, plus my book, which is like grueling. Like the book last time, Zoom gave me creative block. Yeah. I've told you, right? Yeah. Like it was like 6 months of not working because I felt so bad.
Yeah.
Like I sat there, I really wanted to work, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like I had nothing to think, I couldn't think of anything. I didn't want to, and it made me feel really sad.
Right. How did you get out of creative block?
So getting out of creative block, I think, is all about like stepping away from what you're doing. You need like breathing space between what, even if you love what you do, you can't do it all the time. You can't like exhaust yourself of inspiration and expect to still be inspired. You have to like go out into the world and experience things again, so you have something to say. So I think for me, first of all, it was like being a part of a community and talking about it. So I had lunch with my friend Frida Chu, who's like an illustrator. You know Frida?
Frida?
Yeah, so we had lunch. We just had like a big lunch talking about, because we both like children's publishing. So we brought out all our favorite kids books, and we sat there for like 4 hours talking about children's books. But I knew that she went through a massive style change. I was telling her how I was experiencing creative block and I was really scared. And she was like, I went through it. I didn't draw for 6 months. And I was like, oh, you didn't draw for 6 months and you were fine? You're great now. Like you're producing all this amazing work. So I was like, it's okay that I haven't drawn for like 2 months. And so I kind of let go the added pressure of like, it's what I love. Like, am I not fit to be an illustrator?
In that 6 month time, were you out of social media, or did you post stuff?
I didn't post much because I had been out of the habit of sharing stuff because my book, I couldn't share anything about it, and it was the only thing I was doing.
So you were kind of off social media for like 6 months.
I just put so much pressure on myself. I didn't have anything to post because I couldn't. And then I had a trip booked to London with my friend, which was just kind of like circumstantial that it was in that time. But going to London, being out, like I was out of my studio. I couldn't work on things at home. And like Instagram stories had just come out, and I had just, you know how I do like circles and swirls and stuff? I had just like on that trip, I created that visual language, like just for fun. I was like drawing faces on things. And so when I came back, I was like, wow. Like that was really refreshing because it was play. It wasn't work, and it wasn't like me like, why aren't I working, like being down on myself. It was like, lol, this building could have like a face on it. Oh my god, everything can be alive. And so like it then started that intriguing avenue for me.
So you haven't been doing that, as in like that was when you started drawing faces on things?
Yeah, but that was
I didn't realize
that was 2016 or something. I thought
you've always been
2016.
doing it.
I remember your trip to London.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Time is going so fast.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. Like having breaks is really good. Like I find that I put a lot of pressure on myself to constantly be pumping work on Instagram, and like sometimes it's like, oh, what do I post for tomorrow? And I'm just like struggling hard.
I've been taking breaks. I didn't post yesterday.
But then like you should just like relax, watch movies, like watch TV shows, go out with friends, and it's like
I think they like the general audience who like are learning these kind of things. They need to know that creative blocks and kind of inspiration comes in waves.
I think creative block shouldn't be something that just comes. I think you need to maintain stuff. Like I think you can have downtime. You can be like, I don't feel like drawing today, but creative block where you're burnt out, you need to avoid that shit. It's not good. Like, and I think that an easy way to do it is to realize that taking downtime is like an important part of the creative process, because a lot of people are like, I have to keep working, otherwise I'll be irrelevant. It's like, do you want to take a break this weekend for the every weekend, or do you want to actually not be able to work for 6 months and be depressed? Choose, because it's going to be the same amount of time you're taking out, but one is going to be way more detrimental than the other.
The last like 6 or so months, I used to post every day, like 7 days a week. But the last like 6-7 months, I've posted only 4 or 5 times a week. So like just having that 2 to 3 day break, it's been quite good. It's good for like your relationship. It's good for. Of course.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even like. I mean, Rocket and I are like attached at the hip. So it's like. We still get a lot of time together. This week he's busy, like he's working every day, like a normal 9 to 5 would. And I'm like, man, I'm sad. Where are you? Like there's this like, once I was filming a vlog and I heard the door open, but it was just like the guy next door. And I was like, and then like it wasn't him. I was like, oh.
Okay. Should we do some Q&A?
Yeah, sure.
So yesterday we asked you guys to ask some questions for Shawn. All right. Ismail.Chumun asks, should you try different art styles, or do you think it's better to stick with your own?
I don't think art style is like, I have an art style now. It's like finding your style will be a continuous progression. Like I will be hopefully evolving for the rest of my life. So it's like you should always be exploring and trying to find new ways of expressing yourself and not being afraid to be like, well, this isn't my style. I don't care about that. But also, like, don't be like, I need to find a style. Just do stuff. Make stuff.
I think it's the same. I think it's the same with photography. Just post what or create what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people will feel the joy.
I don't want to be known as the guy that shoots black and white photos and like forever I have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I'm kind of known for Photoshop and CD stuff, but I also like to shoot nature, and I also like to
shoot portraits.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. Like, yeah. It's always a good fun.
You don't want to let a perceived style limit you.
MeganGilbert.creative. What's your favorite project you've worked on so far in your career that you can talk about?
I love, obviously, my book. It was a really hard process. It's just such an interesting thing for me. It's so different. It's like people can consume my work without knowing who I am.
Yeah.
And also, I've reached an audience that I love most, which is kids.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a favorite. And
you've always wanted to make a kid's book, right?
Yeah, since I was like, I told my mom when I was 4, I was like, I want to write and draw my own books.
Yeah.
And then now I have.
That's
so
good.
Weird.
And you go to schools and read them. And
oh my god, yeah. Kids are scary. Kids are scary to talk in front of because they're like no empathy for adults.
Yeah.
I thought it would be the opposite way. Like you're giving a keynote. That'd be more scary. Like a keynote to press and like adults and stuff. But like
if you just have to approach the kids in the right way, because when I first started, I was trying to be like, here's how you make a kid's book.
Yeah.
Not really professional, but I was first of all nervous, so I wasn't really myself.
Yeah.
And then I was talking about how to make a kid's book like in technical terms, here's storyboard. Blah.
Yeah.
And my audience was younger than I expected because they said I was getting this audience, but I was actually getting a really young, pre-K.
Oh wow.
And this one kid halfway through was like, this is too long, and I was like, ah. I was like, oh my god, I'm so boring. I ruined their whole day. And so now when I went with kids, I'm like, hey guys, you just have to be like the people they see on TV.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Your personality would do better than
because when I'm nervous, I can't be my true self. So it's hard.
Yeah. Have you always been good with kids and stuff?
Yeah, I love kids because I feel like I'm still a child.
Yeah.
Not in a creepy forever Peter Pan way, but in the way that I find it really easy to access my childlike wonder, which is I think why people are drawn to my work as well.
Yep.
So yeah, kids are great.
Yeah, I got one. Yep. Art of D-Rex. Yeah, I'll put it here.
Okay.
How was it working with Demas, and was it weird working in different mediums?
That's a good question.
I've drawn on photos before, but I hadn't collaborated and drawn on photos before. So that was... It was I was really scared at the start that we would have problems. We would not that we wouldn't have be friends, but I don't want any conflict
Do you hate
between
him
us. No, I don't. I don't at all. It was actually a really positive experience. Yeah. All the collaborations I've done have either been really separate or have been really horrible.
Yeah.
So the separate ones were just people on Tumblr or the internet that I've been let's collaborate. The horrible ones were uni where you're forced to be with someone.
Oh, they're the worst.
Yeah. But being with someone whose work you actually admire, who you respect, and who hopefully respects me, hopefully you respect me too.
I respect you, Shawn.
We wanted to create something that we both liked, and so we were what do you think of this? Every step of the way. So it was a really nice process that I'd never experienced before. Yeah. So in short, it was amazing.
Well, go watch my video, guys.
Oh yeah, watch the video.
You made your work as well. We can put
we can show some of our work.
This is mine. Do you know how to do stuff?
I don't know yet. We can
we should just put it on the screen. What else?
I have a question. So,
from you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, this is a Q&A. No, it's just...
Shut up.
Just say itch set.
Yeah. I can write it in. So you're an illustrator.
Yeah.
But then you also have to take photos.
Yeah.
And now you moved into video. How do you approach that? Your videos are really good.
Thanks.
I can tell that you put a lot of time into your
I do. It takes a really long time.
The little details of animating things.
Even just the text is it's a font, but then I put a stroke and a blur, so it kind of looks like it's projected.
What do you use to edit your
Just
videos?
Final Cut Pro. I'm a noob. I know, I'm sorry. Ugh, I feel like I should use Premiere, but I honestly just know. I've been using it for so long.
Yeah.
I think that I'm most concerned with storytelling.
Yeah.
In general, visual storytelling.
Yeah.
So I want to know how to do it. It's not that hard.
Well, your videos have evolved. I saw one of your latest ones where you had sequences of opening a laundry and you set all that up. You don't just film that. Like a newbie wouldn't just do that. You think about it and...
So my vlogs are partly thinking about shots and really beautiful devices to tell people a story and also really raw footage because I think it's a nice way to balance people feel it's real, which it is, but then there's that aesthetic element.
How did you pick up?
I mean, it really helps having Rocket as a boyfriend. So everything that he knows, I learn.
Yeah.
So when he was working as a bike mechanic, now I know bits of the bike, and I got my own bike, and now I know the best brands of bikes. And when he started with photography, now I know photography terms, and I know what things mean, and I know what to adjust to make it better.
Was a bike mechanic. All right. Well, I guess we'll talk about it when he's on here.
Yeah, bicycles.
Yeah.
And then
well, we're gonna have Rocket on soon.
So.
Yeah, just learn as you go. I guess like I'm not as inquisitive as him, so he kind of breaks the ice for me a little bit. Like if I have a question, he'll know because he's already delved deep.
Yeah.
But also just workarounds. Like I don't know how to use my camera correctly. I just like do it and then change this.
If you see a mistake, you'll change it. It's like
It's crazy how we have to do so many things
to get
like just to become an illustrator. You need to learn photography and all that.
Well, you don't need to, but it's like there are illustrators that survive without it. But I just am so obsessed with storytelling that like I need to be able to tell my story accurately on every medium.
It leads to another question.
Nice segue.
Hey V Syed asks, does being interested in design help make the bond between you and Rocket stronger?
The bond. Well, that's how we got together.
Right.
So like we met in year 11 so our high school was like this: 2 junior high schools from year 7 to 10 and then one senior high school from 11 and 12 for 11 and 12. And so we were in the same visual design class and we were doing a color wheel and I was like, who's that boy over there? And then we were doing color wheel and he's like, miss, I don't have any more blue green paint. I was like, you can use some of mine. And he was like, okay. And then 2 days later we went to the zoo and then we were dating.
Oh, fast.
Yes, I like to work efficiently. No, just kidding. But so I think like it does help because we can talk about each other's work. Like I'm interested in photography. Like I'm interested in art as a whole. So I'm interested in talking about like how we can like progress both of our careers. What kind of work is he making? What kind of work am I making? It would be really hard to be with someone that isn't interested in something that to me is such a big part of my life because I'm so obsessed with working and like creating that if someone really wasn't interested, it'd be hard to be with them, I guess.
Yeah. I think for me, well, this is not part of the question.
No, go ahead.
Demas.
No, go ahead.
Like having Lucy around has been good because like she's not part of this. But
she goes with you for the process, right?
Well, sometimes not really, but like the final product, I can always check with her. Like, what do you think of this? So it's always like getting that second opinion of like. How
she
can I make it
adjudicates a lot of our decisions on 5 to 9.
Actually, then I guess like an interest in creativity doesn't matter. What it is, it's like a willingness to be interested in what the person's interested in.
Yeah.
Although I don't do that well with Rocket. I do it for design, photography, sure. Yeah. As soon as he starts talking about motorbikes, I'm like, I'm like, I like die. I'm like, oh, I don't want to listen to this. And if I have PMS, okay. TMI. When I have PMS, I can't stand. Like I'm very impatient, and I get my fuse is so short. Once he was talking slowly, and I was like, I was almost crying. I didn't say anything, but I was like almost crying because I was like, please just talk faster.
How slow was he talking?
He was like, so I was thinking like this and this, and I was just like, because I feel like in Over the Head where the squirrel has caffeine and everything's so slow. I feel like that's my everyday. Yeah. I'm just like chill, like walking through it. Everyone's like. And I'm like
Varian asks, what would you bring with you if you could visit the moon?
Oh, I don't want to go there. I'm not going there. I'm not going to space. I would never go.
Your book's about space.
I don't want to go there.
Okay.
I don't want to die. I'm scared.
Okay.
If I had to go to the moon,
I don't want to be the first person to go there. Like
no, and I'm never going to Mars if they're taking us there. I'm not going.
So what are you gonna do? You're just gonna stay on Earth?
Yep.
What if Earth explodes?
Bye, everyone. I don't want to because if Earth is gonna explode for sure, I'll go to Mars. But I'm not going to Mars for fun.
It would be so boring.
But hypothetically, what would you bring with you?
Quick,
Rocket.
don't think.
He's so resourceful.
Okay. Rocket? One?
Yeah.
Okay. Just one thing? Just rocket?
Oh, there's more things
I don't know.
Have?
Just like, let's say 3
Oh,
things.
okay. I'd bring rocket, safety gear, and an extra rocket ship so I could go home.
You're not going to bring like a paintbrush?
No, I need to leave.
Supplies?
Okay, maybe a camera.
Okay, a camera. Okay.
Maybe my phone so I could be like, hey.
Selfie. Put it on
like,
Instagram.
Time to leave.
Yeah.
It's like an 8-year trip.
Macaroon noon. I don't know how to say it. Yeah. Did you go to art uni? And if so, would you recommend it? Was it worth it?
I didn't go to art school, but I went to uni to study art.
Yeah.
It depends on the person. Like, are you motivated on your own?
Yeah.
Do you need an institutional setting to help you learn?
Yeah.
I think if you're, like, personally, I don't think it really contributed to my career. Like, no one's ever asked me for my degree.
Yeah.
The best thing that it gave me was, like, critical art, history, and design thinking skills. Just, like, assessing work and trying to think about where it comes from.
Yeah.
But really, like, the work I learned there was not great.
Right.
And, like, I didn't meet many people that I really resonated with. It was just, like, 2.
It's the same in our industry, but I'm guessing some industries will be like...
Oh, if you're a doctor, you should definitely get a degree.
That's fine.
But if you want to be creative, the best way to learn is to actually be in the industry. Like, I learned so much in my internships. Like, even if you're studying, like, I think you should definitely, first of all, be making work outside of university to find your own voice, and also be interning.
Yep.
Yeah, or working, whatever. But, like, I mean, like, finding a way to educate yourself outside of the institutional setting.
I find going to uni helped me with, like, presentation skills. Because architecture is all about presentation and, like, speaking in public. We had to present our designs every week. And so I was, like, really scared to present back in the day. Nervous to just even step up and talk to your class. Yeah. So now, like, I feel like I'm so much better at it. And, like, I don't mind talking in front of a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that's like, it's the things you don't... So this is the thing, the non-creative skills. Yeah. Like, the business skills and the personable skills and stuff. Yeah. And another thing is, like, you have to think about what you want to be doing. If you want to do ceramics, it's probably worthwhile to go to uni so you have a kiln, which is, like, so expensive. Yeah. You have the space, a studio space, and you have the clay and, like, the expertise. But if you want to do something like watercolor or like illustration, you can learn techniques yourself. You just have to be really motivated. Sometimes it's really hard to be motivated by yourself.
Yeah. And architecture taught me how to think. I
feel like you still need to go to uni for architecture.
Yeah, of course.
For architecture, that's like the doctor of design.
It helps me think about photography in a different way. Like doing architecture school.
I don't think you need to go to art school to be an artist if that's what they're asking.
Yeah.
Two more. All
right.
Well, someone goes, "Why are you so cute?"
Can't help it. I'm just kidding.
There's a lot about how did you get your username?
Oh yeah, that's not a good story.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Basically, I was in high school, and
who asked this?
Oh yeah.
There's a few. MN Shops Mo.
Okay.
Basically, like, I was in high school, and as I said, I wanted to start a Tumblr blog, and I just needed a name. Yeah. And I was just like, I like the word peach, it's cute. And then I was like, Furry Little Peach. And
similar to like 5 to 9, we had to start, so it was like whatever.
Yeah, but it has a concept. Mine's just like a bunch of words stuck together. But luckily,
were you staring at a peach?
No, I just like a lot of this. I like eating peaches. I don't like peach flavor, like fake peach flavor. But it's more just like I'm happy that it like represents my work now, and it's not just like some weird, embarrassing.
Do you think that you would be where you are today if you just use Shawn Dantes instead of Furry Little Peach? As in, like,
it's definitely eye catching.
Yeah.
Because like my name doesn't look like a name. So it just be like, what are these random letters? And it allows people to be like, Furry Little Peach, what is that? And they click on it.
Right.
I think in that way, but I don't think
how do you rank on Google? Like, does anything else come up?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm the first that comes up, because who else is called that?
I haven't Googled.
So, yeah, I feel like it would be
Furry Little Peach, I think no one else would be called Furry Little Peach.
Yeah. So Furry Little Peach is like an online moniker, but still for professional work, I still use Sha'an Dantes.
Yeah.
Especially for my books and stuff.
Gel Car asks, what is your biggest achievement?
I don't know. I feel like my life is just a series of things that I've done. Right. But the book is definitely something that was legitimizing as an illustrator.
Okay.
Because it's like a publisher was like, I want to back you. And then bookstores actually have my book. It's not like it exists online in my own little bubble. It's outside the bubble now.
Yep.
And so for me, it was like, there was a lot of insecurities I had. And like, I thought it was going to be like, wow, I'm a real illustrator. But it's just like, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm very proud of myself for doing it.
Did making YouTube videos come naturally to you? What prompted you to start? By a question from Rosie Liz.
Yeah, I just really like storytelling. And also, like, I mentioned that I had to do it for Tumblr. Yep. So that's why I started. But I started YouTubing. I saw a girl like moving into her dorm, and I was like, that's boring, but I like it. Like, maybe if I like her boring shit, maybe people will like my boring shit.
There's a lot of random boring stuff, but like you end up just watching it like, hey.
You resonate with certain stuff. Like, it's someone else's life, so to you it's not boring because you don't experience it.
Have you seen this old? You watch a lot of weird
things. The mochi thing?
No, there's the old. There's an old. It's an old video, but like an old dude, he's eating watermelon with his clone. And he basically...
His clone?
It's him. It's him, but he splits it in half and he like goes...
There's also this old guy recently, because I like watching mukbangs because it makes me hungry. I don't know why. But basically this old man, he had like not that many videos. He was eating mochi, but he was so wholesome that he just exploded on the internet. Like he has like hundreds of thousands of subs now.
Maybe we could end it on this one.
Okay.
Rachel K4649 asks, what do you think are the most important characteristics for an artist/illustrator?
I think resilience.
That's exactly
shamelessness.
What I was thinking. Yeah.
Because I think you need to sometimes put aside what other people think to achieve your vision. Like in terms of people saying that you can't do it.
It has to be your voice. Like,
yeah.
No one else's.
I think creative thinking is something that people don't talk about a lot. It's like how to solve creative problems.
Yes.
Yep.
But you can learn that. Everything that you have to be creative, you can learn.
Yeah.
I think you just have to have the drive and the inkling to do it.
I think like also vision and idea as well.
Yeah,
like, how do
but
you
that
separate...
doesn't come naturally
yes.
always.
How do you separate yourself from other people? Like as a photographer, it's really hard to separate yourself from other people.
But the way you do that is just try and be as genuinely you as possible.
Yeah.
Because there's no other person like you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like everyone trying to be different and looking outside of themselves to try and be different is like doing it wrong, I think.
How do you build taste in...
Taste is I feel...
It's an important thing.
That might be natural. Like it's natural, but you can build upon it.
Yeah.
I feel like I have really good taste in design, but I'm not a great designer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think I know what I like, so it allows me to... Like, taste really helps you steer yourself in a direction, like a strong direction.
Yeah.
It's like
you need to be confident in it too. Like.
Yeah. It's like a rudder.
Yeah.
You have control over your career.
End card, go. Thanks, Shawn, for being on our podcast.
That's
Thank you so
okay.
much. Anything, if you want to find your work, where can we find you?
Just Google Furry Little Peach. You can find me all over the internet.
Cool.
I have nothing to
Easy.
plug.
Nothing to plug.
No, just find me on the internet, please. I'm on YouTube and also Instagram. You can find me there the most.
Furry Little Peach.
Oh yeah, Furry Little Peach.
Yeah.
We got you.
Thank
Right
you.
here.
Yeah, guys. So thank you for watching or listening to this podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you guys
comment, subscribe.
Comment and subscribe.
If you're listening to the podcast,
follow us on Spotify or give us a rating on iTunes.
Yeah.
And
Oh, can I say one more thing?
yeah.
go.
If you're coming from like my channel or my Instagram, thank you for coming and listening to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a wrap, boys.